The year was 1900, and a Methodist Episcopal minister by the name of Reverend Charles Albert Tindley lived in Philadelphia. And he wrote a really significant hymn which he called I'll Overcome Someday. Now, some of you may know some of his other hymns, which included We'll Understand It Better By and Stand By Me. But this particular hymn, I'll Overcome Someday, was drawn particularly from Galatians chapter 6, verse 9 in the Bible. And it says, "Let us not be weary in doing good, for in due season we shall reap if we faint not." And the first stanza of his hymn began with the words, "The world is one great battlefield, with forces all arrayed. If in my heart I do not yield, I'll overcome someday." Now, when Tindley wrote this hymn, he was inspired greatly by the African American folk traditions. And so you have this hymn with a chorus where the congregation could keep joining in. And it was quite a well-known hymn at the time. But what is more important is that this hymn really was the bedrock on which was written the next song that we're going to be singing together. And that is, I'm sure you've guessed it by now, it's We Shall Overcome. Now, this song has been chosen by my friend Rakhi. Rakhi, it's been a long time, but I'm so glad that so many of you, both old and new friends, are now in touch with me, and that we are able to, across the miles, communicate and sing praises to God as well, and have fun at the same time. Now, you've chosen this beautiful song, We Shall Overcome, and it's a very, very topical song. It is a song for the moment, because we are faced, the world is faced by such great challenges, and we know that we shall overcome with the Lord's help one day. Now, I was really interested to see, how this hymn came about. I always like doing a bit of research into any song that I sing. It gives it greater depth, and I am able to, appreciate the song even more. And I hope you don't mind me blabbing on before we get to the song, because very often we don't get the time to do that quick read up or research on the song. It's not in-depth research that I'm doing, but I have found out that it was also popularized in the 1950s by Pete Seeger. And while he did make modifications to the song, it definitely became an anthem for the people. And it was first also recorded in 1952 by somebody by the name of Laura Duncan. She did it as a solo number. But I think most significantly, it was used during the 1960s civil rights movement. And in 1963, in the month of August, a very young 22-year-old folk singer by the name of Joan Baez led a group of 300,000 people singing We Shall Overcome at the Lincoln Memorial. It was an amazing experience. President Lyndon Johnson himself used the phrase, "We shall overcome," and he was a Southerner. Then again, Dr. Martin Luther King recited the words from We Shall Overcome in his final sermon delivered in Memphis on Sunday, March 31st, 1968, and that was just before his assassination. In fact, I'd like to read this quotation from that final sermon. He said, "We shall overcome. We shall overcome. Deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome. And I believe it because somehow the arch of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice. We shall overcome because Carlyle is right. No lie can live forever. We shall overcome because William Cullen Bryant is right. Truth crushed to earth will rise again. We shall overcome because James Russell Lowell is right. Truth forever on the scaffold, wrong forever on the throne, yet that scaffold sways the future, and behind the then unknown standeth God within the shadow, keeping watch above his own. And with this faith we will be able to hew out of the mountain of despair a stone of hope. With this faith, we will be able to transform the jangling discords of our nation into a beautiful symphony of brotherhood. With this faith, we will be able to speed up the day. And in the words of prophecy, every valley shall be exalted, and every mountain and hill shall be made low. The rough places will be made plain, and the crooked places made straight. And the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together. This will be a great day. This will be a marvelous hour. And at that moment, figuratively speaking in biblical words, the morning stars will sing out together, and the sons of God will shout out for joy. Since then, We Have Overcome has been sung by over 50,000 people worldwide. In fact, more than 50,000 people at one time joined together and sung at Dr. King's funeral, which was only a few days after this speech was made. You know, this song didn't or doesn't just appeal to the American people. In fact, it was translated into so many different languages. And I know I'm fluffing on, but I really think that this is an important song because it is a song which deals with what is happening in the world right now. And it was born out of similar circumstances. Well, it is particularly special to us because it has been translated into both Hindi and Bengali. And I guess this is a song which will never grow old. And so I invite you to please sing it with me. We're going to try and sing all the verses that were composed. So I'll make sure that I put up all the lyrics. So some of these verses you may not have heard, but they are wonderful words of wisdom as well. So let's sing it together. Get this started. are not afraid. We are not afraid. We are not afraid. We are not afraid someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe that we be not afraid someday. We are not alone. We are not alone. We are not alone. We are not alone someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe that we shall overcome someday. Sing it with me in Hindi. हम होंगे कामयाब. हम होंगे कामयाब. हम होंगे कामयाब. हम होंगे कामयाब एक दिन. ओ मन में है विश्वास, पूरा है विश्वास. हम होंगे कामयाब एक दिन. আমরা করব জয়. বাংলাতে বলি, আমরা করব জয়. আমরা করব জয়. আমরা করব জয় একদিন. ও মনে আছে বিশ্বাস, পুরো আছে বিশ্বাস. আমরা করব জয় একদিন. আমি বাংলা ভুলে যাচ্ছি, আমি হিন্দি ভুলে मैं हिंदी भूल रही हूँ because I don't get to speak it. But I'm so glad that, we still have that unity, we still have that joy, which assures us that one day the Lord will help us overcome, because there will be no more crying, no more pain, because He will help us overcome someday. Take care and God bless.